and welcome to the 0 Hours Random News. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and we have random news for you this week. And I'm going to start off with a little gloating. And the reason why I'm gloating is that we did a segment a couple weeks ago about, let's call them the Harry Reid truthers, the right-wingers who somehow believe that Harry Reid's exercise injury was actually not an exercise injury at all. But they convinced themselves that it was an attack by nefarious gangsters who beat the senator up, and he concealed it out of shame or because he didn't want to know. God only knows. I mean, you know, these guys aren't even good enough to write bad mobster movies. They're just like lamos. So, here's what happened now. This time around, a guy, oh, by the way, let's call out some names. Conservative blogger John Hinderaker, he's one of the guys who is convinced that Reid is lying. Hinderaker said, quote, "It isn't hard to guess that he ran afoul of mobsters." Quote, ran afoul of mobsters. Boy, these guys, what they think of themselves to even say something like ran afoul of mobsters on a blog. Okay, Reid had promised to obtain some benefit for a group of mobsters. He's just making that up. Okay, and he was not available to get that benefit, so they beat him up. Okay, now, then he started running with another story. I love this. This is the part that I love. Which is Easton Elliott. Somebody using the name Easton Elliott went to Hinderaker with another theory about Harry Reid. And the theory was this. Easton Elliott told Hinderaker that Harry Reid's brother Larry Reid, I guess that's true, they're Harry and Larry, went to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in Las Vegas and on New Year's Eve. And here's what Easton Elliott told Mr. Hinderaker, that sometime between 10 and 11:30, a man entered the meeting. His appearance was striking. There was blood on his clothing beginning around his midsection. His left hand was swollen. He appeared to be somewhat intoxicated and was visibly agitated. He introduced himself as Larry. Larry said that he had just had a fight with a family member. He had been at a family get-together, and he didn't remember about the fight. Now he was frightened the Secret Service was coming after him. It took Elliott a little while to put this together, but he eventually figured out that this was Larry Reid, and he had just come from a fight with his brother Harry. Now, Hinderaker ran with this story. This is Easton Elliott's account. He said, I can't vouch for it, of course, but if what he says about the AA meeting is accurate, the inferences he draws seem reasonable, end quote. That's Hinderaker. Now, this is what these guys always do. They say, well, of course, I don't know, but if it's true, it's a big deal. So it went all over right-wing media. Rush Limbaugh mentioned it on his radio program. Laura Ingraham brought it up because her radio program brought it up because Hinderaker was guest hosting. Now, it turns out that Easton Elliott is really named Larry Pfeiffer. Now, Larry Pfeiffer says he did this just to see whether they'd bite, whether they'd believe him and produce this story. He wanted to see how far it would go. Now, the Las Vegas man says he started a false rumor, injuries suffered by Senate Minority Leader Larry Pfeiffer, a 50-year-old former consultant in the nightclub and entertainment industry, says he fabricated the story after being appalled that right-wing political blogger John Hinderaker published a rumor about Reid's injuries. When Hinderaker reported it and the rumor was subsequently spread by others in conservative media, Pfeiffer says he began plotting to self-report it as a lie to show the lack of credibility and journalistic standards among partisan media figures. Well, Larry Pfeiffer, mission accomplished. We've now got these guys looking like idiots, and I, for one, could not be more pleased. Now, I think we have time for one more story, and if we do, I'm going to tell this one. This is call this future stuff because we haven't done future stuff in a long time. So there's a design consultant firm named IDEO, which imagines a world where autonomous vehicles change the way we work. Now, there's a lot of nonsense in this whole future field and whatever you call it, prediction fiction field, futurism. We've talked about this, but they're saying that self-driving cars mean that we'll be able to work in the car. The car will become a kind of mobile office. And they also say that they'll be able to put offices in vans, and your office will come to you instead of you coming to your office, because it'll just be your desk and your stuff. And wherever you are, they can send it to you as a mobile office. Now, if that's the case, you know, you hear these different ideas. Some of them seem loony. I have this deep fear that that is probably true, that there probably will be a time when we're expected to work in the car just as we're expected to work on the plane with laptops instead of goofing off and reading novels. Now we will also be forced to work on our way to work or on our way to vacation or anywhere else, or else our work will come to us. Mark my words, I think this one is going to come true. I'm Richard RJ Eskow for the Zero Hour.